Hi, this is Kim Pinckney and welcome to my channel. Alright, so today I'm going to be working on the scene where they are getting the news from their skipper. Oh, sorry. For those of you who are just joining, this is my web comic called Nocturnal Emissions. And there's a scene where our female love interest here is on a ship, and she's about to get some really crappy news. So I need to draw people in the background. But I'm wondering if I want to do it here. Let's see, I need to draw people standing, but I'm thinking that they're going to be too small to see anything worth a dang. Yeah, so I don't want to waste time, and I want to have them looking relatively relaxed, different shapes and sizes, different work outfits, or uniforms rather. And I'm going to put in the people that I remember seeing. A lot of us, when we were on the ship, we weren't in dungarees. We were more in what is it called? Overalls, coveralls. You couldn't wear the coveralls outside. When you're on the base, you could wear the dungarees, but when you're outside the base, you were either wearing, I think they let them wear camouflage, even though you're really not supposed to. They might have relaxed the rules or something like that, so I'll have like a handful of people in coveralls, some in dungarees. But I'm wondering... Let's see. I'm trying to see what my people would look like if I do these little images here. Oops. Let me see if I can just do a generic person real quick. The head is going to make the difference. So we'll have this guy work the flight line. He shouldn't be wearing that on his ears. Let's see, especially if you're supposed to be listening, so we'll do this. sometimes you get the let's see, if they're at parade rest, usually their hands are behind their backs. We weren't really supposed to put our hands in our pockets, because when you put your hands in your pockets, sometimes you want to put things in your pockets. Let's see, that doesn't look natural. Let's see. He's got boots on under here. So this could be like a plane handler. Let's see. Now with this, I probably don't have to give him an expression or anything intense. I'm debating whether or not I want to draw these people in a different program. Okay, good enough for government work. Let's see, we'll go back over him with black. Of course it's on the wrong layer. That's okay. I can go ahead and erase those things. I think, yeah, I should be able to. Alright, so we'll make this the people layer, and we'll make the other one disappear. Alright. This is like reflective tape. Yeah, this guy is going to be wicked small. Okay. Let's see, we'll find, I'll just grab some random people. Let's see. Let me see if I can channel my inner Kim Jung-yi. Let's see. We'll just kind of alternate between men and women. Let's see, we'll put 2 line people here. Come on, you. And I think I'll draw about maybe 10 or 15 people and then duplicate them and then maybe tweak them up a bit. Because ain't nobody got time to draw a shit ton of people. Let's see, we'll put the hat on them. See, when you're on the ship, you work about like 12-hour shifts sometimes, depending on what shop you're in. We'll give her the turtleneck. Let's see, you're allowed to have hair as long as it doesn't touch your collar. Your hair down. Give her my hairstyle, but you can't see too much of it. Yeah, it's not a pleasure cruise, definitely. When you're on the ship, you're expected to work. That's why I keep telling people if I ever get on a ship again, the captain's going to want to serve me. We put her in coveralls, or we could do the camouflage pants. Nah, we'll do her in coveralls. We will put somebody behind them. Let's see. Put somebody taller. Put him in overalls. Now there is a place on the ship where you can do the laundry, but if you were in a cool shop like mine was, you'll have your own washer. We had one of those 2-in-1 washers, and since we were all mechanics, you know, they were able to maintain it. Otherwise, we had like a washing machine room. It's almost always busy. Let's go ahead and give him a little. So you didn't have to wear your cover all the time. Okay, I'm going to use the short hair brush. Yeah, I don't like the short hair brush on this. Let's use the fine hair brush. There we go. Give him some texture. Not that you'll be able to see it, it'll be like super tiny, but it's the principle of the thing. Smoky? Principalities. Might even be able to give him bushier eyebrows. And we'll give him a widow's peak, why not? Now there's going to be a lot of different age people, a lot of young people, but we'll throw in some older adults too. Most of the guys that I worked with, well, it was a mix, I guess. This is not bad. It was a mix between younger and older. Between 20 and 40. It was a good mix. And then we'll throw some people, let's see, once I do like maybe 2 rows of people, we'll have like the 3rd and 4th row just be like heads. Let's see. And hopefully when they have these little powwows, it's not like, you know, during the time when you got to get some sleep because you're working the night shift. Okay, let's see. And yeah, it's mostly men. Give him my buddy's hairstyle. Make this guy a little older. He could have a mustache. Make it a little leaner. Yeah, you had a lot of different sizes of people. You know, sometimes you can get a waiver. Let's see, we'll give him the dungarees. No, we'll put him in. Yeah, we'll give him dungarees. But usually you'd be in coveralls. But if you're in one of the offices, you don't get coveralls, I don't think. So we'll keep him. Let's see. Yeah, we'll keep him in. Yeah. And because he's behind her. Let's see. You know what? I'll put him. Let's see. We'll make it smaller. We're running out of space. See, gotta keep that hair off your collar. Get a little older. Let's see. We'll do a few folks over here. Just put their heads here at least. Like a little block or something like that here. And then sometimes you have like maybe some officers or whatever. You don't want to be too close. You have people who already know. Make them a little bigger. Let's see. Put a few people in flight suits or something. Oops. I hope I hit my drawing instrument so loose that it fell out of my hand. Alright. Let's see. So they'll probably be darkened. Let's go ahead and do this, just to give you an idea. Let's see. Make this guy kind of big. He could be civilian. They don't have, I don't think they have such restrictions on civilians as far as their weight. We've had civilians on the ship too. They're civilian contractors. But they didn't usually stand with us, so nah, we won't have him be a civilian. And I think the older that you get, the less restrictions, or the exercise and stuff like that is not as intense. It's not the core. They may have changed the standards to kind of thin out the military a bit, literally. Let's see, and with this guy, we'll give him coveralls. We roll him up a little bit. We'll make him just a beefy guy. Put him in his boots. We'll make sure that he's in proportion at least. Put a woman here. We'll give her I don't know. What should I put on her? Let's see. We'll make her a Marine, because we had those on the ship. But then again, they kept their own. They were with us, but they weren't with us. Kept them in the belly of the ship. Then they'd come out every now and then and do some sort of training exercise, like come up and choose one person on the ship, run like hell to find them, and then hog tie them with zip ties, you know, just an exercise. They let us know during our indoctrination to the ship that things like that happen. So just go with it. And then like during, I think it's called Fleet Week, something like that, where we have the SEALs try to infiltrate the ship and take the captain hostage. And that's big time for the Marines, which is our security. And they're usually in camouflage. Yeah, so we won't have to be a Marine because they do their stuff in secret most of the time. Put her in. Put her in coveralls. Most of us are in coveralls. So if he catches everybody in coveralls, more than likely this was unplanned. And then there were times when we would stop what we were doing and we just clean the ship. You know, we'd have designated areas on the ship to clean and sweep them up and things like that. So it wasn't always just one person's responsibility. It was like we'd do it as a shop for like an hour or something like that. And I remember I would bring a radio with me whenever I went to go clean. Let's see, we put a belt on. Yeah, everybody has steel-toed shoes on, usually the same kind of steel-toed shoes. Flight line boots. Very few people had the steel-toed shoes that you had in boot camp. Now the flight line boots, they had the steel portion right here on the toe, steel-toed boots. They'd lace up, And they were leather, so you could shine them if you had to. Yeah, some people are weird like that, where they have them shined up. You know, you get all that oil and whatnot on it. It's like it's better to have a second pair for such occasions like that. For stupid occasions. And we also had the shorties. Yeah, you could join, but you had to be at least, I think, 4 foot something. I can't remember. You couldn't, if you were a woman, you had, you know, they had height standards. You'd never see a little person in the military. I mean, little person. So we'll make this one into a woman, and we'll make her kind of, see. Now you had some people in dungarees. Definitely administrative. And usually your name is stenciled on your stuff. But at this distance you probably wouldn't be able to read their names. Let's see, and sometimes you'd have the crow, your rank. Like this guy might be, let's see, what are we going to make him? We'll make him a private, not private, sorry, airman. Petty officer, sorry. I remember we had the crow. I can't remember which way it went though. And it's just an iron-on patch. And it's usually black. You'd have one on each sleeve, I think. We'll have his rolled up. Either that or you had like insignias on your lapel here. I can't remember, it's been a while. Let's see. One last person, I guess. Let's see, we'll just kind of slick his hair back a little bit. All right. Figure out what she's looking at. What you looking at? Usually the short people would be up front, you know, so they could see. Yeah, we'll put her in a ball cap. Yeah, you definitely work with some characters on the ship. Okay, there we go. So they don't want you wearing ball caps on the flight line because they don't want you to have your hat sucked into the intake of an airplane or a jet. Let's see, she is out of head. Let's see. There we go. That way her head doesn't disappear. If you ever see like someone's head under here, but then it's nothing here, you're like, where's your head, chick? is your head? Okay. She looks a little bit more normal. Okay. Thought I was erasing. All right. Okay. And my daughter will probably just go ahead and give them all like one tone, because they're not important right now. So there are very few female chiefs and officers on the ship. Most of them are land-based, from what I saw. We had very, very few. Okay, let's see. Here's on this layer. Yeah. Clean this up. I've been wanting to clean some of these lines up. Okay. So these are the doors. I can't remember. Let's see what the bay doors would look like. Hold up. Let me see if I can get the interior of a ship. I know that the ground is usually black and asphalt and uncomfortable as hell if you fall down, because it's like roof tar. The whole thing is like roof tar. Let's see. Hopefully it doesn't just give me schematics. Oh, yeah. Okay, hold up. Let's see. Oh, this is tight. Okay, there's a YouTube video that has a short walk aboard aircraft carrier. Let me see. Hopefully I don't get a... No, I don't want to risk it. Get a copyright strike. But yeah, this is what it looks like on the inside of a carrier. Well, maybe I'll just draw that sort of thing. Let's see. This is cool. This is... Oops. There we go. I'm going to slide my screen over so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Now this is kind of what I am thinking of. This is the area of the ship that I would work in. It's at least 3 or 4 stories down from the there we go. From the flight line, and the area that I am imagining that they're standing in is like right here in the center of the ship. These areas right here close up, like when we do general quarters. Oh, look at that! It's at one of the 3 hangars of the Nimitz. Ah, speak of the devil. Yeah, my shop was right here in this neck of the woods. This is all the support equipment that we would work on. Let's see if I can make this bigger. It doesn't look like it's going to let me, but yeah, we always had, we have like tie down chains on the bottom, which is like these little, let me see if I can draw some of this stuff. But yeah, up above here, we would have pennants, hanging. But when general quarters came on, these big giant doors here would close. And then once that happens, you have to go on the sides of the ships. You'd have to go up the stairs on the sides of the ships in order to get to the next, to go from, like if you need to go to the front, you'd have to go up one way and over, and hopefully they hadn't shut all the doors on you. You had to know more than one way of skinning the cat to get to the ship. Different sides of the ship. Everybody was assigned to a certain area in general quarters, so it's like if there's some sort of emergency, you had to get to your station, but in the meantime everything's being closed. So yeah. Look at it. A Nimitz aircraft carrier, an enormous source of destruction, capable of delivering hundreds of tons of explosives to its enemies under an hour. Yeah. And right here it looks like it's doing a high-speed turn. Those bitches, man, say you're in your rack and you're trying to sleep, and then the ship is turning at an angle like that, almost a 45 to just a ridiculous angle. So you could roll out of your bed if you're not prepared. You almost have to tie yourself down. Let's see. So yeah. So when we had like a powwow that was important, or whatever they were giving an announcement, we would stand like right here in the middle of the ship, and usually we don't have a shit ton of stuff around us. Back this way is where the we would like other shops and stuff like that, and all along the sides of the ship were shops and stuff like that, interior of the ship. But it's crazy that I can't zoom in on this. Let me see. But yeah, so I worked on this stuff while I was on the ship. Let's see if there's anything else of interest. Not really. What first picture? Oh, is that a 69? I can't tell. Anyway. Ooh, I've never seen the reactors. Yeah, they told us that they would have to rip open the belly of the ship in order to take these bad boys out. Exactly. That's why I've never seen. I could never see the reactors. If you're not allowed in that area, they don't want you in that area. And then there's certain parts on the ship where you can't. There's like signs that say "Don't take a nap here." But yeah, there's no way that a civilian would be allowed. It's even illegal to take pictures of the inside sometimes, but it is what it is. Sometimes we let civilians on to do the tour so you can see where daddy has been and where mommy works, things like that. It was interesting when they brought the civilians onto the ship to see the ship. But anyway, that's where we are on my picture. At least I'm trying to recreate. Okay, so let me move this crap out of the way. Okay. Alright. So all this down here should be black. Alright. And I think this center image will be just the captain. talking. And then, let's see, what time is it? Oh, I got time for that. Let's see, I can go ahead and merge some of this stuff together. I'm not going to merge that gray down because I'm not sure if I want to keep that, because you saw that the interior wasn't gray, it was more like a white, but I'm closing it. Okay, and I'll do the pinnets another time. Let's see. Now they would bring planes into this part of the ship so that they could work on them inside, like tomcats and stuff like that. And they even caught people having sex inside the ship. Oh, here's our hangar bay. That's what it's called. Hold up. Yeah, and I would work on support equipment like this. And so you'd have stuff like this. These would move the planes around. This is like a either an air conditioning unit or a power unit. I can't remember. Been a while. God, it brings back memories. And then this would be the elevator that they would bring the planes down on. Like, yeah, that's the elevator there. And there were times when you would just watch people like just stare out that hole. You know, it was just insane. Let's see. But yeah, that's what the hangar bay would look like the holes here, the elevator. This was always open. I don't think we ever really shut it. And you would watch, you could watch them move the planes up and down. Here's the air crew, or the guys up above. The plane handlers would operate these guys. They're low enough so that you can get underneath the planes. But it gets pretty tight up in there. We have like a storage unit in the back. Let's see. Trying to see one that's closest to what we had. Now there was different parts of the ship that were really fascinating. Like this here is the area where the massive chains and stuff for the anchors would be raised and lowered. They're freaking huge, massive, but this was kind of decorative in this area too. It's just really freaky to see. Let's see. This is how narrow these areas are. You can probably fit two people side by side, turned on their side to get through here. And in general quarters, you'd have to go, let's see, I think it was left to go to the back, which is aft, and then starboard, you had to go on the right of the ship. And you're racing through these corridors in order to get to your side of the ship. It was effing sane. I only had to do it a couple times, but it was like, that's freaking enough. And that's what workups you're doing during workups. You're constantly doing exercises like that. But anyway, I digress. Alright, let's see. So I think this one was the image of the reactions. The captain holds up a condom. He's addressing the people. So let me go ahead and see if I can find... Oh, we'll go ahead and just do an image of that. Let's see if I can whip out some people on this side and have Coffey in there. Let's see. Yeah, this is the one I'm going to be working on for layer 3. I'm going to drop the opacity a bit. maybe a little more. Okay, and we'll work on that. If I can get this a little thicker. Or I should put skipper on here. It doesn't matter. You know what? I don't think they have that in the back there. I think this one right here is like one of those solid ball caps. They don't have the little, I think they had more of a adjuster in the back. Okay. Gotta be off the ears. Okay. Okay, so basically the captain is telling them that if you guys had used the condoms in medical, you need to go get tested. Yeah, I think what I use, use the medical, let's see, okay, so go get tested, and let's see, we're not going to have another incident like where they had to get quarantined or something like that, is what I want to basically have that allude to. Okay, so let's throw some faces here. Let's see, I'll work on his backside a bit. I can't remember all the little patches that were on here. Okay, so we'll have the people standing a bit of a distance here. We'll have one. No, that's too close. There we go. I don't know why the U.S. flag is on his back when it should have been on the sleeve, but no, whatever. Yeah, usually the flag is put on the sleeve. I don't think he's blaming anyone here, but it did happen, so... Okay, so for those who are just joining this may be your first introduction to my videos, but this is a story about a guy who can't sleep. He works at this really incredible job. He gets these nightmares. And when he has a good night's sleep, he's amazing at his job. But, and he was, what's the word, excelling and things like that. And he was, just really kicking butt at his job. But with these nightmares, he just cannot he just can't function. So he let me fix this. So he finds out that he can... We kind of catch him in the middle of his affliction. He can sleep when there are, when there's a person present somewhere near him. And usually it's a woman, because, he's a good-looking guy. He has no problem finding women. I can't see this image here. There we go. So he's constantly, picking up women. And so as a result, these women get the nightmare. Sorry, it's kind of hard to draw and talk at the same time, but yeah, so it's the nightmares they vary, but they're pretty much really, really bad. It's like they experience it physically where he only experienced it mentally. And it's like the women would, what's the word, inhibit it. You know, well, it didn't go after him, it went after them. No. So, okay, so once they had been appeased, I guess he'd get a really good night's sleep. To the point where it's like a wet dream type of night's sleep. And yeah. So let me move this over. There we go. So these are like different flags on his back here. This right here, okay, so the guy is burned through like a lot of women, a shit ton of women, to the point where it got really hard to find women to go home with him. He didn't want to take home any women from work. You know, you don't piss where you eat, you know. So his buddy comes across and suggests that he go to the enlist club, and there he meets the girl that is on the ship, and this is the girl who can inhibit the nightmares. They stop for good, at least when he's with him. And you know, all's right with the world, and he seems to do well. You know, they like each other. They have fun together. Until it's time for her to go. Now, her ship is, when he met her, was in the midst of doing workups, which means getting prepared to go out to sea for 6 months. Usually the air wing flies onto the ship, because you don't want to bring broken planes onto the ship, but you do want to maintain them. So if they can't fly on, they don't get to stay. Anyway, I digress. So in the meantime, he's already said goodbye to her, and he thinks he's cured, only to find out, you know, after celebrating with 2 married women, that he's not cured, not in the slightest. So that's a pretty damn good start. I think I shall copy it. Alright. Yeah, so she's on the cruise now. In the meantime, he is realizing that 2 women just disappeared. This never happened before to him. You know, usually they just kind of run off and he never sees them again. And, you know, he's pretty cool with that. And but this time is different for some reason. It's like it's gotten 100 times worse because the women never disappeared. I don't know why this isn't disappearing. Oh, because it's on a different layer. Interesting. Let me merge these together. There we go. Then I can manipulate everything. There we go. Lovely. I don't know how I ended up on a second layer like that, but that's okay. It's alright. Just go with it. Okay, so right now, or a few scenes ago, our guy had celebrated with his buddy who suggested the excuse me, who suggested the E-Club, and goes home with two women, or actually he goes to a whole nother hotel room with two women, and it's bad. You know, he's like wondering what the hell happened. And then, let's see, let me just see if I can get this stuff on here. No idea what this stuff means. Yeah, usually cruise patches are where you've been, so it's been interesting to see. Anyway, Top Gun, gotta love it. And that's part of the reason why I had joined the Navy. It's a damn good recruiting film. Best recruiting film they ever had. What I'm doing is making some straight lines. Just draw it and hold. Draw it and hold, and you can manipulate it, kind of move it up and down. There we go. I think this is just kind of like a basic. There we go. Let's see. I'll erase a little bit of that. Okay, so I'm at the point where it's just gotten worse for him. And but not to the point where it's super bad. It's all escalating. I thought I'd never get to this point, but it's getting faster. For some reason I just don't have the energy to draw when I get off work, and I can't draw when I'm at work because I'm supposed to be working, even though because of the virus it's wicked slow. But I still don't want to get caught drawing on the job. So but this is going to be fun because this is going to be, nobody's going to be able to read this. It says on, I don't think this can get that small. On the move. Okay, you see that, right? Watch when I zoom out. Can't see it. And then there's like weird crap going on in this picture behind the 9. Okay. So anyway, This is I'm putting all this detail in this simply because I had this freaking massive ass crush on Tom Cruise. It's absolutely batshit crazy when I was a teenager. Let's see. This is I think he was the reason why I ended up joining the military. I blame him. Okay. It's all your fault, Tom Cruise. All your fault. Let's see. Now on his shoulder he's got something that says Dallas on it. I think it's Dallas. It's kind of obscured by his lapel. It's on his shoulder there. And then nothing, I don't see anything on that shoulder. Okay, so anyway, let me turn this back around. Okay, so oh, that's right. All this stuff is on a different layer. Okay, no worries. So, the first few weeks when I was drawing this, I was drawing thumbnails. Let's see. And since I don't really need this, I'm just going to draw a whole bunch of people standing here. Okay, so what else? Okay, so she's on the ship and leaving, and he is on shore panicking. So there's a little bit of panic to be shared by all here. Oops, wrong layer. And I could probably get rid of some of this stuff here. Make sure. Yeah. Yeah, the thumbnails help out a lot. I wrote the story and then did some thumbnails, and I tried to keep. I didn't make everything. What's the word? Absolutely and positively, you know, it's got to be this way, or I can't do this type of thing. There's a lot of room for interpretation and improvising. Like, so I kept, when I wrote the story, I just kind of made a lot of plot points, which is basically this has to happen to get to this has to happen to get to this has to happen type of thing. And let's see, I probably don't need this anymore. Let's see. Make sure that I don't need this one. Okay, so that's that layer, and this is my work layer. And I don't think I need this layer anymore. Let's see, delete. that layer. Oh shoot. Maybe I did. No, I don't. Okay, so that's one page. This is the next page. Don't need that. Oh. Okay, so behind these guys is where my shop would be. There's like a... But we're not going to worry about that. We're going to stay focused on the people. And we'll draw the people here. Okay, so... The guy hasn't, you know, the hero, not much of a hero, the protagonist, he hasn't quite hit rock bottom yet. It's getting there. It's very close to it. And, okay, so, let's see. I want one guy here who's not worried about the condom situation. Yeah, I think before I got to my ship, someone was telling me a story how the ship was doing so well as far as behaving themselves. You know, but once they, you know, when they were out on Westpac, or just doing, yeah, while they were out at sea doing their thing. And it wasn't until they got to Australia did they mess up. The whole ship was quarantined for chlamydia. Yeah, it just wasn't until then that bad crap happened. So these things happen, maybe, but not messing up the condom supply. That is an act of terrorism that should be punished. Let's see, we'll have a big guy here. Coveralls, wearing his hat like Opie, or one of those guys, Gomer Pyle. He ain't worried. It's the people next to him that are freaking worried. Okay. Let's see. Okay, almost time for me to go. I'm trying to find a picture of people standing. To give me like different ideas on how someone relaxed or let's see. I don't know how it switched. Sometimes, I don't know, it's like 3 fingers, 2 fingers, things like that. When I rest my hand on the screen, sometimes it changes and does strange things. So it's got to be careful. Okay. put this person in we'll have this person be in overalls too. Well, actually, we'll put him in dungarees. And dungarees are like bell-bottom pants. And supposedly they're made in such a way that they can be used as a flotation device. Yeah, I didn't believe it until I actually had to do it. You have to take your pants off while you're in a pool. They showed us this in boot camp. And somehow tie the legs before the thing gets too waterlogged. They fill with air. And when they fill with air, it becomes buoyant. And they also have flame retardant dungarees, and they're treated with some whatever fire retardant, and but they also look good for like if you have to do an inspection. But they smell like hell. They look good, but they smell like hell. Let's see. So now they're getting kind of antsy. So we'll give this guy, we'll have him roll up his sleeves too. And we'll give him the turtleneck. Yeah, I had a friend that he looked damn good in like green. He would wear the green turtleneck with his camouflage pants. Okay, let's see. We'll make a shorter woman here. Let's see, we'll have them looking at him. See. Try to put her in dungarees here. A chambray shirt. You got pockets on your chest. You know, I was constantly stealing pens and didn't realize I was doing it. It's like I'd use a pen, take it home. I had a shit ton of pens at home and didn't realize, didn't have a single pen at work. It's like, God, Dandra. Gotta ground everybody. I got a lot of shit ton of people to draw. Let's see. I'm trying to pace myself. There's this, I gotta hit the store and it doesn't open until like 30 minutes from now, and usually about now is when I pop off. Some people don't care, but let's see. We'll see. We'll have one guy laugh. You know, there's always one. It could be just a well, actually, we won't have him laugh. We'll just have him like looking concerned here. Let's see. We're just trying to get good postures here. Oops, sorry, I'm not looking at the chat. Sorry about that. Oh, that's okay, nobody's there. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be definitely an interesting thing when this is finally done. Okay, let's see. There's somebody behind them. There. Looking away. Change up perspectives. So we have somebody here. And you got to keep in mind there's like 1,500 people on the ship. And only a handful are probably not here in the hangar deck. Okay, so, all right. Okay, so I guess this is not a bad stopping part. Good freaking mess. Okay, so from here I should be able to show where the elevator is. And all you see is, this is where I'm going to put Coffey in another scene. Put some more people here. You know what? Let's see if I can take some of these guys. They all look like they're being blown that way. Copy and paste. Put them over here. And we'll flip down horizontal. But yeah, they're on their own layer. Let's see. And then I'll just change them up a bit. Come back down here. Get rid of some of that back there. It's like, whoa! Let's fix these guys here. I think these guys are a little too close. Let's see, remove them. Now the thing about what's happened is that the skipper will hold himself responsible. Anything that happens on his ship, anything that happens to his people, a good skipper holds themselves responsible. The buck always stops with them. So that something like this that happened shouldn't have happened. In, you know, there's no passing the buck. I'm going to change some of these guys up. Okay, so remember when I was on the ship, there's the elevator, and then you got horizon, and all you saw was just water and sky. And that was it. No birds, no nothing. You were lucky if you saw a whale or anything like that, but most of the time, nothing. let's see, and then here there was like storage back here all along this wall. And put some support equipment and stuff back here. Okay. Alright, so okay, so everybody's been dismissed. Okay, and this was going to be Coffey right here. Let's see, but before I do that, I'll merge all these guys together for this panel. Alright, and then tomorrow I'll be working on this part right here where we have the reaction and things like that. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and... Oops, no, not gallery. God, dangerous. Right here. I'll go ahead and do a quick replay. And you'll see the thumbnails first, and some of them will go pretty fast. But this is the assembly that the captain is announcing. Usually there's bad news when a captain is announcing something like this. He's not doing it, this might be just like the day shift, and people that are, and he might even go to shop, like for the shops that can't come out. But basically, what's happening in these thumbnails is Coffey's worried because she was a frequent, she usually frequent medical to grab the condos, and people are realizing that this is a really freaking big ass deal. They're all standing in line to use the phone, and Coffey's not going to be able to reach our guy, our confirmed bachelor. So while he's banging like 2 chicks at once who disappear on him, if you've seen the other videos that I had done, the thumbnails, you'll know what I'm talking about. He's kind of worried, so he's heading off to work. He's not quite himself, and it's in the meantime, she's on the ship, gets this news as they're heading to pick up the air wing that not everybody's going to be returning with them, that this incident has happened, so people have to be tested for AIDS, STDs, pregnancies, and then they got to let their people know who are back home, their partners, whether or not they need to be tested as well. Some of these guys aren't faithful to their wives. Some of them didn't expect to have a wife. Yeah. With this program here, we move this up a little faster. Because I was working really tiny, you can zoom in pretty far in this program, but your time, sorry about that, the time-lapse replay might be dookie. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit. Yeah, my time-lapse replay is kind of dookie on this. This is not a vector program. This is a pixel type program. So you can only go so far without it getting pixelated. And so now we're into today's. Now, in my imagination, I imagine Maverick from Top Gun is now a skipper of his own ship, and he's just going through some shit. This is not happening, not on my watch. But yeah, Tom Cruise is now the skipper of his own ship, and or if you can imagine the Maverick character, you know, he knows that everybody's pretty shit hot, so this should not have happened to them. The gray that you see behind him is are the bay doors that are shut. They're on their way to pick up the air wing, and he's letting them know that someone poked a hole in the community condoms that are down in medical. And I think I want to call it something else. I think I want to call it the cookie jar. So somebody broke the cookie jar, or broke all the cookies, or tainted all the cookies. And I'm thinking I'm going to have like the Cookie Monster, you know, with the C is for condoms instead of for cookie. And so somebody poked a hole in all the condoms. So not only does that risk pregnancy for women on the ship who use the condoms, but also STDs for any men, you know, that are participating. So how that might happen, it could have gotten into the condom, things like that. So he is urging them to get tested at medical, and then let the people know. And I'm going to bring it into where Coffey's already been tested, and she's got her results, and she needs to call oh boy badly, and she can't reach him. So she's heading to like San Diego, and he is unaware of whatever's happening with her. In the meantime, he's suffering from his own ordeal, and it's just going to get a little bit worse for him. Well, a lot worse. Alright, you guys, if you'd like to hear more of the story, stay with me. I'm not the best of auditory storytellers, but I'm working on it. This is my first comic that I've ever done, hopefully to completion, because this contest really means a lot to me. It's the potential that, you know, for future comic ventures. So that's where we are today, and I hope I see you guys in the next video. If you like what you see, like, subscribe, and I will talk to you later. Bye bye. Hi ho, off to work I go.